Hi everybody, welcome back to a Riders Lounge podcast episode. This is the Shed Talk series, and it's been a couple of weeks since the last one. And right now we're in the middle of, we've finished X Games. I'm in the middle of looking at it, kind of breaking everything down because I'll probably jump on for a chat with Clint Esposito in the next few hours, maybe tomorrow. Whenever he wakes up, he's in the middle of his own shows. Jumping a Harley Davidson right now. It may sound different here. I am also in the middle of deconstructing the pantry of this old kitchen in the cellar where I am. And I'm now installing some insulation on the hot water pipes. I've taken all of the old insulation. Sorry, it's going to be the new insulation, but it's just kind of been sitting in there as like a temporary thing just to see how it would sound. I've removed everything. I've got crap on the floor. I'm making a mess. I mean, I'll prove it. Told you, this is a construction zone here. This is all construction. And I decided I'd probably jump on now, do a quick Shed Talk episode before we get into the X Games stuff, because there's a lot that happened. We all know that, and everything else that's happening around in the FMX world. One big thing that happened this week just before X Games, and I really don't like talking about this sort of stuff, it's Matt Buyten. If you're a fan of this Riders Lounge podcast, you probably already know the terrible news that Matt Buyten has suffered a career-ending crash and definitely a life-changing crash in motocross. So it looks like he is paralyzed from the mid-thoracic down. It's been tough reading his messages, but as tough as I say it is to read a message, that dude is sitting there in hospital with his family around him and writing these messages. He's the one that has to go through this, and his family are there, supporting him in his moment of need right now and for the rest of his life. And I just wanted to throw it out there that as horrible as the news is, he is such a trooper I'm reading those messages and he's writing them on Instagram to the public, to all of us, and it still seems somewhat very positive. So, man, he's one of the nicest guys I've met in this sport, actually. And as he said, we all know the risks of the sport. It freaking sucks. But if anybody is going to get through it, it is Matt B10 Buyten. So, there have been a few GoFundMe links have been made. I have shared one of them. I did see somebody else, I can't remember who it was, they put it up. So if you want to go onto the Riders Lounge podcast Instagram, you'll find it on there. If you go to, I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. Probably on Matt Buyten's page as well, but I don't think he didn't make it. Like, these are his friends who have made them. It is for them to help support him and to give it all over to the family. And yeah, I don't normally talk about GoFundMe links, which is also what I said on when I put it up. I don't normally do that, but I'm definitely making an exception for Matt. So, man, I hope everything goes well. He said he's in one of the best hospitals with some of the best doctors. That gives me a little bit of confidence, and also for him that he is definitely receiving the best help that he can get right now. And it's going to be a long journey, but I'm sure him and his family are up to it, and the rest of the moto community to help out. I've already seen some friends of his have turned up in the hospital, which is awesome. And I'm guessing he will definitely enjoy a lot more of that into the future as well. So yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll try to get back onto a positive topic. Sorry about uh, starting this episode like that, but yeah, I kind of felt like I just needed to say something quick. I didn't know how to say it. This is just freestyling it, and I hope everything goes well. Right. So yeah, X Games just happened Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm over here in Germany, so of course it was at the worst possible time of the night slash morning. But I've got a new puppy dog. Well, it's not a puppy. I've got a new rescue dog. Just came from Russia 2 weeks ago. It is the Queen's Corgi. Since I have an English wife, she decided that we had to have the Queen's Corgi. And it turns out from about midnight until 2 or 3 in the morning is her Zoomy time because she's still getting used to us and the new house and everything's new. So I was actually awake this time and I watched Best Trick and Best Whip live. And funnily enough, the competition that was a reasonable time at 11:15 at night, I actually fell asleep for. So I've just woken up, watched that. That was unreal. Everything was unreal. Man, this year was huge, even with some guys in, some guys out. Definitely the guys who were out. I'm sorry we missed them because I think that would have made the competition even better. But man, it was pretty damn sweet to start with. Come on, I had the results here. I'm not going to go through the results very much because I will do that with Clint Esposito, but I did have them up here on this X Games website. And if you listen to the preview podcast that we were talking about, you probably already know that I'm not happy with X Games in their website. It sucks. Anyway, I'm going to go back through it. Motocross Best Whip. I'm just going to throw out the quick results. Maybe one or two things about it, but I will break this down a lot more with Clint, so that episode will be coming quickly. So in first place, as you've already seen it, I am sure, on the Starkwagen, Patrick Evans beating out Julian Van Stippen, who had the biggest whip ever done on that 120 ramp at Axel Hodges' house at Slayground 2021, I think it was, X Games. Maybe 2022. I forget which one. So Julian Van Stippen, who up until now has had the biggest whip, was pipped. And it was not by a little. It was by Patrick Evans on this electric bike. And that whip, all of his whips, it was unreal. It was unbelievable. Patrick has stepped it up so much, so fast on this bike. There are haters and lovers left, right, and center. I'm on the love side, as you can probably tell. But I do understand where the haters are coming from. I completely get it. I've heard and been messaged by a lot of people about this, both sides of the argument, because it started out with keyboard warriors in the chat or on the message. Then they ended up messaging me, and I get it. I get everybody. What I'd love to say though is let's just appreciate how fucking big they were, no matter what bike it was on. They were the biggest whips ever. Tyler Berriman in third place and Wyatt Fontenot in fourth. And I'm going to throw out one more quick opinion. I think Wyatt probably deserved a podium. How high up? That's probably up to you guys to decide. But then you've got to say that somebody has to come off of the podium, and that's the tough part of this. I don't know where you'd find it. Jared McNeil in fifth place, Tom Parsons in sixth, and Genki Wanky Watanabe in seventh. It was an awesome best whip competition. That was one of the best comps I've seen. Probably was the best comp. Best trick, all right. With his best score on attempt 2, he needed to do it on attempt 2 because everybody else had ridden, and Rob Adelberg was looking like securing the win with his lazy boy front flip off the next gen. There's no cheater ramps here. Adelberg with the smoothest of front flip lazy boys because nobody had done it before off a regular ramp. Harry Bink actually did it, but that was off a Moon Buddha front flip ramp at Nitro World Games. So it has been done before, but not off this type of ramp. Rob Adelberg, 96 points, last jump, last rider, Jacko Strong, front flip, jackhammer, the fully extended version of a cliffhanger, got 97.66, just pipping Adelberg. And that was the second day of competition and the second round of controversy. And don't you worry, there was a lot of messages about that one as well. Harry Bink in third place with 91, double flipping the next gen ramp. So on one ramp, which is what we've been talking about for a fair few years now, double flips and front flips off the exact same ramp. We don't need super kickers anymore. We don't need front flip cheetah ramps anymore. We don't need regular ramps anymore. It's all about next gen. No, that is a very one-dimensional look at it. We definitely do need all of those ramps. I'm just trying to make a headline. That was very lazy of me as a journalist. I'm very sorry. But right now it's Shed Talk, so I don't have to say that because I'm not really being a journalist. I'm just speaking shit. Julian Van Stippen in fourth place, also with a double backflip. That was off the regular super kicker. Taka Higashino, 87.33, just behind. I think that was with the one-handed Super Can Indy backflip over the next gen. And Javier Villegas. Javier at 40 years old comes in with a surfer takeoff tsunami backflip off the next gen. Only two riders have ever done that, Javier and Mark Pignol. But the one kind of statistic that my wife realized as we were looking at all the riders lined up was the age. There was only one rider who was under the age of 30 years old, and I think that was Julian Van Stippen. Everybody else over 30. That is crazy. In a competition that is all about going big and kind of having no brains, it turns out maybe you do need brains. Maybe you need a little bit of experience. Right, let's move on to quarter pipe. And, well, to say it about best trick, that was one of the best tricks out there. No, I guess you could probably say, like, when Travis was going double flips, when we saw some new body barrels coming in, they were edge of your seat things because you had no idea what was going on. This one, I felt like as soon as Adelberg went for the front flip, we kind of knew that's where we were going with this. We saw the training. So unfortunately, in a way, seeing training videos before the comp actually kind of gives away a little bit of the secret. But still, it was an awesome best trick. I'm not going to take anything away from that. Quarter pipe, however, this was... Oh, man, I'm going to have to go through this again with Clint. Maybe we can look at the heights versus last year and the year before, but it felt like the competition was so much closer this time. Corey Creed, on his last jump, 53.7 or 53 feet 7 inches for the win. Colby Raha looking to do it again to go for the 4-peat. He came down to his last jump. He got 51 feet 7 inches, so exactly 2 feet under on that electric Starkvarg. So the talk of the town is the electric bike. Yeah, blah, blah. That's what we're going to talk about. But Guillaume Navas, the youngster, only 7 inches off of probably 8 inches, off of a silver medal at 51 foot flat. Guillaume Navas in third. Axel Hodges, he got knocked off by, his was 50 feet 5 inches. And then Jason Borowski, I guess he was technically in anyway. But I did hear the commentators saying because Tyler Berriman was out, he crashed in training, which I didn't see. I didn't know that. Jason was in, but I'm pretty sure Jason was in anyway because I saw him turn up a day or two earlier and he hit the ramp. So I don't think you'd be hitting the ramp if you weren't going to be in the comp. And Cole Denny, 40 foot flat. So nobody under 40 feet this year. That is insane. Everybody went big. And the only thing that didn't go big, I think, in this competition was the size of the landing. there was not much real estate there to land on. I was nervous watching the landing before the comp even happened. I was like, man, if these guys drift too far, they're going to be in a world of pain. But maybe that's because the competition is like, it's progressed and the riders have progressed and they don't need such a big landing compared to years past because they're getting used to this jump a little bit more year after year. I don't know. So, what did I think? One of the best X Games that I've seen in a long time. That's for sure. But then I probably say that every year, but I don't know why. I just feel like I'm getting more and more pumped again. I felt like there was a little bit of a lull. There were X Games for the last 5 or 10 years. We're like, not much was progressing. But now with new disciplines, let's say the quarter pipe, with the next gen ramp, maybe some different riders coming through a little bit more now, it is getting a little bit more exciting. I was really looking forward to seeing Pat Buyten there. I don't know why he wasn't there. So that was a bit of a shame that he didn't make it because inside word, he was going for something gnarly. But that didn't happen. Anyway, it is what it is. We're going to talk a lot more about this X Games because there is a lot more that needs to be talked about in this competition. That'll probably be in the next day or 2 or 3 that we will get that done. I think that's about it. I'm just in X Games mode. I just watched Ryan Williams in the BMX Dirt Best Trick. What did he land? Like double backflip 360 first time there. That was insane. Everything looked really good. It looked like the crowd was bigger this year. I could be wrong, but it just looked better. So, looks like it was a good change going to Ventura. Despite it being next to the beach, watching the palm trees blowing like hell in the background, I would not have been in a good headspace if I was riding because I was just watching the wind every day, watching every comp, and I'm like, no way. I would be losing my mind. And then knowing you've got to go for whatever discipline it is, the biggest you've ever done in each discipline. Screw that. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to get back on the tools and keep building out this studio. So I hope you guys are having a good time. I want to give a big shout out to Rothaus Tannenzaepfle for their alcohol-free beer, just if you want to keep your liver intact like I do need to. Or if you just want to drive home from a party, you can stand there looking like you're drinking beers all night, jump in the car, everybody's going to shit themselves, but guess what? You're alcohol-free. You can drive home. But anyway, thank you very much to those guys for supporting the podcast for the last 5 years. This is insane. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'm going to get back on the tools.